All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're stepping into what I like to call the AI kitchen. We're going to demystify how a simple idea gets cooked up into a live, intelligent application. We're breaking down the entire recipe, from start to finish. You know, it's a question that makes AI feel like magic, right? You type a simple question, and this smart, coherent answer just appears out of nowhere. But how does that actually work? Let's pull back the curtain and really see what's going on behind the scenes. So, to wrap our heads around all of this, we're going to use one simple analogy for the whole thing. Forget the white lab coat. Today, you and I, we're chefs. We're opening a brand new restaurant. And this one idea is going to be our guide through every single tool and concept. So let's get cooking. Okay, first things first. Every great restaurant needs two things: a brilliant chef, the brains of the operation, and a signature recipe. In the AI world, this is our core architecture. So meet the transformer. This is the foundational blueprint, the brain architecture behind pretty much every modern AI you've heard of, including things like GPT. Now, its secret sauce is this mechanism called attention. This is how an AI finally figured out how to understand context. How it knows a riverbank is totally different from an investment bank. So let's talk about that attention thing for a second. Imagine a speed reader who doesn't just read a page from left to right. Instead, they scan the entire page all at once, and their eyes instantly highlight the most important keywords to get the whole story. That's basically what a transformer does with our sentences. It's pretty cool. Okay, so a brilliant recipe is totally useless if you don't have a kitchen to cook it in, right? Well, that's PyTorch. Think of it as the engine block, the factory floor, with all the heavy machinery you need to do the massive calculations that actually bring the transformer's blueprint to life. All right, we've got our brain and our kitchen, but here's the problem. These AI models are gigantic. So how on earth can we teach them new things without needing a multi-million-dollar server farm? Well, the answer is this really revolutionary technique called QLoRA. It's just an incredibly efficient way to specialize, or what we call fine-tune, a huge model without needing a huge budget. And here's the perfect way to think about it. Instead of rewriting a 1,000-page encyclopedia just to add one tiny new fact, you just stick on a few targeted Post-it notes. That's exactly what QLoRA does. It's what makes powerful AI accessible to pretty much anyone. It's genius, really. So if QLoRA is our super efficient technique, think of Unsloth as the turbocharger we bolt onto the engine. It's a newer framework that takes all that heavy math in PyTorch and just makes it run like a specialized racing engine. It speeds up that whole fine-tuning process like you wouldn't believe. So just how dramatic is that speed up? We are talking up to 30 times faster, all while using 70% less memory. That's just insane. It's kind of like having a pit crew that can change your tires in 2 seconds flat instead of 2 minutes. It's all about hyper-efficiency. So we have an engine. We've got a turbocharger. But look, every great chef knows the meal is only as good as the ingredients. And for AI, our ingredient is data. And prepping that data correctly is absolutely essential. Let's walk through our kitchen's workflow. First, this library called PyODBC, that's our supply truck. It goes to the data warehouse like a big SQL database, and it picks up all the raw ingredients. Then we bring all that stuff to our prep station, which is called pandas. Think of it like a giant cutting board we use to wash, chop, and organize the data. And finally, we format it as something called JSONL, which is basically a stack of flashcards, all ready to be fed to our AI, one example at a time. Now, how we format those flashcards is actually super important. We could use something simple, like the alpaca format, which is basically just a question and answer test, or we can use a more advanced format like ChatML. Think of this one like a movie script that tells the AI who is talking. Is it the system, is it the user, or is it the assistant? For conversations, trust me, the script is always better. Okay, so we've got our brain, we have our kitchen, and we have our perfectly prepped ingredients. Now it's time to actually assemble and serve a meal that feels intelligent and, interactive. So here's the good news. We don't have to build our chef's brain from scratch. That would cost millions. Instead, we can go to a place called Hugging Face. Think of it as a global marketplace, or maybe a massive public library where we can just check out a powerful pre-trained brain for free, and then just teach it our own specific recipes. Now here's a little secret about AI. For all its brilliance, a model has no memory. It's what we call stateless. And that's where LangChain comes in. LangChain is the head waiter of our restaurant. It remembers your allergies, it remembers what you ordered last time, and it coordinates all the complex requests between you and the kitchen. Basically, it gives the AI memory and logic. And finally, how does the customer actually experience our amazing creation? Well, they do it through Streamlit. This is the plating and the presentation. It's the menu, the table, the whole ambiance. And it's this fantastic tool that lets us build a beautiful interactive web app for our AI, even if we're not web developers. Our restaurant is a hit. I mean, the food is amazing, customers absolutely love it, but how do we go from one successful little spot to a global franchise that can serve millions of people reliably? That's where MLOps comes in. It stands for Machine Learning Operations. And the best way to think about it is as the standard operating procedures for a huge global restaurant chain. It's the system that guarantees a burger tastes exactly the same in London as it does in New York. It makes sure the kitchen is always clean and never runs out of ingredients. It's all about consistency, reliability, and quality at a massive scale. All right, let's put that entire recipe together one last time. This is the AI chef's workflow from top to bottom. We extract our data with PyODBC, we clean it up with pandas, we format it as JSONL, we train our models super fast with Unsloth and QLoRA, we orchestrate all the logic with LangChain, we build the interface with Streamlit, and finally, we make sure it can all scale reliably with MLOps. And there you have it, our entire AI kitchen, all laid out on one table. Each task, from building that core engine all the way to scaling the final product, has its key tools and its perfect spot in our restaurant analogy. This is the modern AI tech stack, translated from all that complex jargon into one simple, coherent story. So we've gone all the way from just a raw idea to a fully functioning AI, and we've demystified the entire process along the way. As you've seen, the so-called magic of AI, well, it's not really magic at all. It's just a well-crafted recipe. So I guess the only question left is, now that you have the recipe, what will you create?